Uh, sorry. Sorry. My thing's like that working, so I didn't know if it went through. Sorry.
Welcome back, shooters. It's been a long time, everybody, and we're thankful that everybody's tuning in tonight. We had to take some hiatus to celebrate our nation's birthday on 4th of July, and then young Joseph here had a family vacation, which is why we're tuning in on Team Handball Tuesday. We're joined tonight by our new friend Shane from Flint. Shane, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you today?
Wow. As Joey says, if it would be any better, it'd be illegal. How are you doing, Joey?
You
Since I'm making
took
this
my
real
thunder a little
awkward.
bit, JD, but
I
I'm
know.
doing fantastic. Shane, I'm very happy you could come on with us. I'm really excited to talk to you, learn more about you, and share what you're working on with the rest of the world.
Oh, hey, I'm glad to get out there.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
Excellent. Joey, you want to kick it off? I know you got a whole plethora of things to. Oh, as always, folks, I had a lot of complaints about the scrolling text, so we've stopped the scrolling text. It's just stationary, for all you kids out there. Shane, I probably should have told you if you want to check us out to watch what I'm doing, tune in on Twitch so we can bump up our viewership. We're already at 3 views, which is fantastic to see. We're going to lose them all in about 30 seconds. But anyways, topics are right beneath me. We're going to be talking a lot about the city of Flint, what Shane's working on up there, and some other kind of important news in the handball world. We'll touch upon Mr. Barry Siff's resignation. So, Joey, take it away.
All right. Well, Shane, tell us a little bit about yourself. How'd you end up in Flint, Michigan? Who are you?
All right. Well, I'm Shane. I'm one of the two co-owners of hopefully a new team starting in 2020, 2021, Flint City HC. Being my wife, Melissa. And that's what brought me to Flint was her. I'm actually from the burbs out in Oakland County. She's from Flint. And, the heart wants what the heart wants. Mm-hmm. So I moved up to Flint to be with her. So a couple years ago, we started up, we tried to start up some team handball out here in the city. We got in touch with our Parks and Rec League. We tried to get in touch with Michigan High School Athletic Association, and it didn't quite pan out. We started off, as most people do, trying to find a team. You see the Olympics, you think, hey, that's a lot of fun. I want to get into that. Then you look for it, and there's no teams. And this was about 10 years ago, give or take.
Dang. The sad truth.
It is, but, I tried, that's the only team you have to really see at that point is the, United States team. So we reached out to the Olympic team to see what they had for suggestions as, who we could talk to or what path we could take. And basically the path is start a team. There is nothing out there. So if you want it, you got to do it. I'm like, okay, we're good with that. So they loaned us some equipment and some balls, some goals and stuff like that. And like I said, we tried to reach out to Parks and Rec. They set something up, but the word didn't get out quite the way it needed to. So it never really came to any kind of real head. Mm-hmm. And we got word from Team USA that we're kind of on a short clock. We need to see results or we need this equipment back, which is understandable. So kind of in the rush, we reached out to Michigan High School Athletic Association, just thinking, well, we got to get our foot in the door somewhere, right? And that came up short as well because basically saying budget crunches and this is a new sport. It's hard to get anybody to commit time, even gym time, what is valuable, because that's time they could rent out to somebody else,
Right.
Right. Something a little more valid at the time. So we hit the bump, but it seems like now's a good time to get going again.
You're damn right it
That's
is.
right.
So what was the interest like initially? Were you able to get a couple of your buddies interested? Were the MHSA, do they sound interested? What were those conversations like?
The conversations with MHSAA were very short and fruitless. I mean, really short and fruitless. I mean, it's not that like there's not anything like discouraging or dismissive about it. It was just very blunt. It's like, listen, we hear you, but we just can't front the money on it. We just can't afford it. And at a point, even offering to say, well, listen, I got equipment. I can take it to some schools and try to show some kids the game and see what they think, right? Even with that kind of an offer, it's just still, it's too much on them. So it really didn't go anywhere at all. Even like I said, with the Parks and Rec thing, we got some word out, but it didn't go out like in their normal books that go out for, the regular schedule of events. So because it was kind of like this outlier thing that you had to catch on a website at a certain time, it didn't get
it. Yeah.
Right. So, the interest was just like you're saying, me, a couple friends. I think we actually only had like 2 people from the community show up. And I think they were mostly just like, whoa, there's actually people here. I think they were confused that other people saw the ad too, just as randomly.
That's not nothing.
Yeah.
That's good.
Seriously.
Yeah. So, the hope is to go about it in a bit of a different way this time around. Especially now that, honestly, now that you guys are here, it makes it so much easier for someone like me, honestly, because now we can actually say, no, we're not just going to be doing scrimmages with each other every Wednesday. We actually have other teams we can play against.
Real
other
people
that are right. Golly, God forbid. But I think that in itself is going to be such a draw for people and garner so much more interest. And I think right now we're seeing, I think, a push for different things. Like we're seeing soccer grow more and more. You're seeing some more interest in, things like rugby. And I think that some of these
niche sports,
like niche sports that people only see sporadically are gaining. I mean, hell, especially now with COVID, people are watching marble races.
Oh, don't get me started on Marble Olympics, baby. Man, one of the kids on our team, he's obsessed with Marble Olympics. He's like, JD, you got to pay me in marbles. So I was like, if that's all you want is marbles? Yeah, Kelsey, I'll pay you in marbles. Like, geez Louise. But yeah, you're right. It's ridiculous. I mean, that's where we're at. And I know that situation with football in the fall is, who knows what's going to happen. And I know that's something that handball's still happening in Europe. I mean, they're still moving, chugging right along. I mean, they started training camps. They're getting ready to start up in the fall like normal. So that's something that if the handball community wanted to really tap into America, this is the time. This is definitely the time from a viewership standpoint.
Exactly.
Needs whoever is running the PR for like the Belarusian professional ping pong tournament that I've been seeing a lot about. They just need to hire that guy, and we won't have any problems here. But that's exciting. I'm glad you're just as on fire about this and on board.
Welcome to the brotherhood.
Thanks.
Shane, I might have missed it, but what made you even think to what got you into handball, or did you see it in the Olympics, or how did you? I might have missed it when you were explaining it, but
no, that's pretty much it. Is I caught it on the Olympics, like I said, probably about 10 years ago, give or take, and I'm not a big guy, but I'm kind of a big guy, So I see this sport where it's a physical, hard-nosed kind of game, right? And that immediately draws my interest. I like basketball, I like hockey, I like soccer. I like lacrosse and stuff. I don't play that so much, but I enjoy watching it because it is such a hard-hitting game. And just seeing something like I said that's just different yet so familiar really piqued my interest. And you see one match, you're like, okay, this is interesting. Then you watch a second and a third, and you start to pick up the rules a little more, and you start to get a feel for how certain countries play the game and stuff. And it's easy to get caught up in it.
Absolutely, and it's got a lot of when you learn more about the sport. I think most Americans see it during the Olympics. They're like, oh, this game just looks inherently fun. But
Mhm.
the more you learn about the culture around it and how it's arranged in other parts of the world, it's cool because there's supporter sections, there's clubs, there's history behind the sport.
Right.
It's not just an every 4 years type of thing. There's professionals playing every day who are just world class, and it's just a cool thing to be a part of.
Mhm.
So yeah, no, it's great. Hopefully, we can get a little bit of that going here. No, not hopefully. We will
No,
get a
We
little bit of
will.
it's
that
common.
going here in the
You know,
Midwest.
and it seems interesting. I remember it seems like every year that the Olympics take place, right after, without giving them a spot, a local sports radio station here in Detroit always brings up the easy topic right after the Olympics. Oh man, what sport did you just see for the first time, or is a new sport that you want to play? It's very easy radio talk,
For sure.
and always, oh, team handball was
Handball,
so
handball.
much fun. Oh, team handball, and it's like, where are you guys? It's like, I'm here. We want to do stuff. Where are all you people? Come play. Let's do this.
Isn't that crazy? It's
Mhm.
crazy that it's literally like there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people who are like us three who love the
Mhm.
sport, who want to play it, but yeah, it's just not. It hasn't come together yet.
Yeah.
It hasn't come together yet. But
Yeah, I think that's the thing. We see that, especially like you look at soccer here. I mean, Joe, you're in Michigan too, so you're probably about my age, probably a little younger than me, but I remember growing up in Michigan. If you wanted soccer, you basically had the Rockers, and then you had arena soccer. You know, very very small scale, so it didn't really garnish a lot of fans because you had to be right in the immediate area where those couple, like 2 3 teams were, and they're all in one spot.
yeah,
I kind of think that's kind of the thing with team handball. A lot of people are interested in it, but because the structure isn't in there yet, they're reluctant to get involved like that.
Yep.
And I think once people start seeing more of these little teams pop up here, there, and become more regionalized, like we've seen with leagues like NPSL
Oh,
and
yeah.
soccer, where you can have a lot of small local teams play against each other and kind of create natural rivalries. I think that will just pull people in more and more. Once they see it, and they see that it's something that they can partake in, something they can get involved in, and not something that they would necessarily have to put in all the work of building themselves.
Right.
Then I think we'll see a lot more people get into the game.
Yeah,
I couldn't agree more.
Yep.
I couldn't agree
People
more.
don't want to put in that legwork to start a club, but they're not afraid to join one when one exists. So that's the problem. Is we need more people like you, Shane, who are willing to take on that, big step to try to start a team. It's not an easy task, and it's something that I'm excited to see how you guys develop. And having Joey and the Detroit team so close is going to be a huge asset because we went up there and had a little scrimmage a couple weeks ago, and it was great. It was great, great guys, great atmosphere, good solid skill as well. So which is fantastic to see from a brand new team. So yeah, so I think like my big question is, especially now, like what do you hope to get out of starting like a handball team? Like what is your goal here? Like just find a group of dudes, hang out, have a good time, get some exercise. You want to go win a championship? Do you want to travel the world? I left that really open ended. So
No. Well, I'll tell you what. Here's the thing. I think for me personally, and I think my wife would be in on me with me on this. I think that our first thought is always to our community. Um, this is something that is fun and is something new, and we think Flint is a place where there's room for something like that to take hold. I mean, really get in. So, I mean, I'll put this: we have a plan for what kind of players we want to recruit,
yeah,
and where we want to pull players from. I think we're in a really, really, really great place to do it from too. I think Flint, just from you look at our history with hockey and basketball, we have a lot of talent here. If you look at our local high schools, deep, deep, deep soccer history around here too. I think you can pull so many talented athletes from this area, and make a really, really solid team without having to really scrounge for like players outside your area. I believe we can really make a Flint team and keep it in Flint. The idea ultimately, yeah, have fun.
Yeah.
Championships are nice. Who doesn't like titles?
yeah. Cool.
But ultimately the idea is we want to start something and really build with you all. We don't want to come in and start, punching nose and saying, yeah, Flint's here now. What's up? That's
Flint
not our goal.
rules.
Yeah,
The
we're
Doyle
so
family of handball.
Right, yeah, we're going to be Team O'Doyle. Yeah, yeah. That's not the goal. The goal really is to try to get in on something new and bring something new and exciting to our community in Flint, and really help bring the sport to that community.
Awesome. That's a great
so
answer.
cool.
That was like way more than I
Oh,
bargained for. So thank you, Shane.
Thanks. I rehearsed that so long.
I practice. One other
awesome.
quick question I have on that. So
Mhm,
you guys are I see you're rolling with the Flint City HC. I
mhm.
recognize the fact that Flint Tropics is probably off the table, but I didn't know if there was any, if you guys can have a mascot or like what kind of vibe you guys are going with the logo potential theme. I don't know what the Flint, besides all I know about Flint is that there's a lack of
Sure.
drinkable water. That's all I know.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you, and just we'll touch on that real quick.
Okay.
Flint still does not have clean drinking water,
Holy cow. It's been
and
like
that
what, like
not
8 years?
yes, it's been
Oh my
far.
gosh.
One day was too long. This is
Jeez.
It's beyond unacceptable. And while I have the time, amazing thank yous to every community group and community member who has helped Flint, not just locally, but really across the nation, across the world. We've had amazing support from across the globe for our community when this became a big issue. The problem is it's 8 years later.
Yeah. Oh my
And I mean, as you know, we're involved with a lot of other crazy stuff right
yeah.
now. And the Flint water crisis doesn't really ring a bell with people anymore. And the problem is it still persists. Like, there are people who have said, hey, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll fix these things, we'll fix that things. And slowly but surely they're happening, but it's still been eight
That's still
years.
not enough. Dang.
Yeah. But you know what? Here's the thing. Truthfully, while that is the thing that most people know about Flint recently, it 100% does not define us. And I'm coming from, again, I'm not born in this community. I've come into this community,
Mm-hmm.
but I've come to really love this community. It's become my home through and through. And I look at the history of Flint, which I've been very lucky to learn more and more about, because we do have such an amazingly rich cultural center in our city, just great museums and planetariums, just great stuff here. But I've seen that Flint is, I mean, we are really the city of hard knocks. We really are. We've taken a hit from one thing or another, whether it's an industry change, a flood, a tornado, a water crisis, government corruption. It doesn't matter what happens. Our city will take the hit, but Flint will always get back up. And, to the credit of the people who, are just tough as nails and resilient as can be, have always found a way to hold on to the city and do everything they can to bring it back and reinvent the city as many times as it takes. I mean, we went from a very hard industrial city to what has become, really, if you go to our downtown area, it's basically a college town now. There's like 4 or 5 universities just in the downtown area, including Kettering University, which is one of the best engineering schools in the country, if not the world.
Quick pause there. A lot of engineers like to play handball, just saying. So it might be a nice little.
Oh, he's an engineer.
It's not just me. There's our whole team's engineers. Some other teams. San Francisco's got a lot of engineers. It's a weird, connection between engineering and handball. So you might want to slide into Kettering there.
Yeah, the Kettering campus is definitely on our list of people to talk to. 100% on the list.
Cool.
But for our, for everything we're going through right now, we're still very much in the planning stages. We have our colors picked right now. We're working out a logo with somebody, with a local digital artist. I don't want to tip too much because we are still developing. We hope it's going to be done.
Sure.
But it is going to include a bit of local flair, things that people in the area will notice right
I
away.
recognize. Have you seen Joey's logo? Because like to me, like that's of a fantastic setup with the way Detroit. Like it's really cool logo. It's come a long way. It started out a little rough, a little bumpy.
Oh, very rough.
And then somebody came out and just turned it from a blotch to a piece of work from Picasso. Like it was incredible. So
yeah, I like it too. Spirit of Detroit is a great emblem. I mean, it looks gorgeous.
He's playing handball.
I know it's great.
It's a little subtle.
I mean, just right there, right? That's awesome. Yeah, I can't draw. I'm not an artist, so I immediately went to somebody and said, "Please do this for me."
Yeah.
But we're gonna keep it very simple, very close to like a clean soccer style badge.
Cool. You really could work for I'm sure Flint's got a tourism bureau that you could probably get another side hustle with, but I think excellent come to Flint pitch. So I'll be coming up in the next couple months at some point. So, or at least
I'll tell you, I can't wait for this whole pandemic thing to just blow over so our downtown can open up again. I miss walking around downtown and stopping in at restaurants and just getting a bite to eat or checking out one of the local shops. I really miss just dropping in. And we have like a little shop of just pop-up stores. It's so much fun to check out. I really can't wait for all this to just be done. And even for this, I can't recruit anybody right now. I can't go to gyms or anything.
Yep.
Everything's really hard.
Yep. It's tough. We've been having some outdoor practices, and it's not been easy, and coordinating everybody. And then people are like, well, are you taking precautionary measures? And I'm like, we're playing outside, and I guess we're passing the same ball we're touching. Like, do you want us to wear gloves, masks, full body bubble? Like, how do you want us to do this? So it's been a lot of trying to float under the radar. I mean, I've been going to work every day since this all started, so I get my temperature taken by the robot and tells me if I'm good or not. So I think I'd like to think that I'm at least cool on that aspect, but I know there's plenty of unidentified symptoms, and who knows when this is going to end. I know every state's kind of operating on their own situation, and that's the hard part is that everybody's gonna up in the air. Like, for instance, we're supposed to play in an outdoor tournament in New Jersey August 1st, 2nd, that weekend. Today, the state of New Jersey announced that all travelers from Ohio have to have a 2-week quarantine coming in and going back. And I was like, well, looks like we're not going to that tournament. So
right, you got to chill for a whole month.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're like, the people that are running it are like, you're welcome to stay with us here. And I was like, as much as I'd love to go to the Garden State for a month, I don't think that's on my to-do list, nor do I have the PTO to accommodate.
Right. Yeah.
So
but we're on a mask ordinance now in Michigan. If you're in, I don't know what the number is, but if you're in any kind of group, you have to wear a mask now.
Yeah, I think the stores have to kick you out if you're not.
Or they get fined.
Yeah, which, I mean, quite frankly, I'll wear a damn mask if it means I can go into Dairy Queen and get an ice cream. Sure, why not? I want my Dairy Queen. Open it up.
Priorities.
Yep, I've been masked up the whole time, so I mean, it's fine with me. I just, but I work from home, so I can't complain. I'm good.
Oh man, yeah. As if it wasn't hard enough to get handball going in the U.S., why not throw a pandemic in the mix? Really, in 20 years from now, when kids are complaining, we can tell our going uphill both ways story with, you know what handball was, and there was a pandemic going on.
And there was a pandemic. Oh my God, right? That would be a story.
For sure.
You remember the 2020 season?
The Roaring 20s.
One for the record books. Yeah, the Roaring 20s. Man.
Jane, I gotta ask. So you are involved with an awesome soccer club and supporter group. That soccer club being Detroit City FC, and that supporter group being none other than the Northern Guard. Tell us a little bit about how you got involved in that and the role that's played in developing soccer here in Michigan.
Okay. So it was 5 years ago now. My wife and I went to go see the Detroit City FC team play against then Michigan Bucks at Ultimate Soccer Arenas in Pontiac. We went because we had a family member that used to play for Detroit City FC, and had recently stopped and had taken a different role with the team. And he's like, yeah, come check us out, blah, blah, blah. It's not too far of a drive. So yeah, we went. And we go into the arena, and, we've never seen either team. Like, we knew about Detroit CFC, but we've never actually seen a game or anything. And we start seeing some fans with drums, pulling them out of their cars. And we're like, okay, this will be interesting. We got our little guy with us. He's probably like 3 at the time or something like that. We go into the arena. It's like a big tin can if you go in there. It's all enclosed, metal roof and everything. And we look to the left, and you see all these guys, banging drums and yelling and flags. And so they just, chanting along, and people on like the sideline just rah, 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 leading the chants. And it's like, whoa, okay, soccer, yes. Then we look to the right, and it's all the Bucks players' parents, and they're just kind of like sitting like it. Yeah, it's like, oh, it's Wimbledon. Okay, nice.
Golf club.
Yes, it's a lot of that, So, and I'll tell you what, it's still like that if you go there. The teams that play there are just, there's nothing. There's nothing. There's no atmosphere. But like immediately we're like, well, we're going to go sit on the left now. So we went and got in with them and immediately got into some of the songs, and Tetra Scene, which is like a big group, like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like a big group dance kind of thing. And by the end of the match, we're like, yep, this is our team. We're doing this. This is what we've always been waiting for. And I think the next game we talked to some of the capos, the guys who kind of like run the show during the games, and said, hey, listen, we're out in the Flint area. We want to start, a Northern Guard supporter branch out there. We had seen that there's like a Lansing group and a group in Cascadia and a few other places. And they were immediately like, yes, do it. Just go. So started out the social media. Me and the family made up a flag, started trying to recruit people, putting the word out around our city, doing stickers. And before you knew it, the spirit of the club is so community based. It's so community first and club first that it really drew us. That just seems to be part of our personalities too. We're just really about the people that are around us.
Absolutely.
Reach out with other people that were like-minded to us and see, here's something we can have an absolute blast, supporting, and we can do great stuff for the people around us as well. And it just became more of an obsession, and then became a lifestyle. And 5 years on, we're still season ticket holders.
Awesome. That is awesome.
JD, and for those of you who are listening, like Detroit City FC, so backtrack a little bit, like obviously soccer in the US, it's an interesting beast. And like Shane mentioned earlier, there have been teams in Michigan like semi-professionally during my lifetime.
Arena teams.
Sorry?
Yeah. Like arena teams and stuff, yeah.
Like the Bucks. I think of the Bucks. When I first heard of Detroit City FC, I was like, why would I want to like go to the place where I have like lacrosse tournaments at to watch like a not MLS team?
Right.
Like, it didn't make any sense. And then through the grapevine, I would hear about Detroit City FC and like the crazy fans and like people getting married at halftime and like just like crazy stuff. And I was like, oh, like I'm sure it's crazy, but like, how crazy can it be? And so fast forward to last year, I was living in Denmark for handball, and that was sort of my I don't even know how to describe it, but I really got engulfed in the handball culture over there, and that's really where I got my sense of like, wow, this is something really, really special, and it really can be something special. And it was because of the people in the communities that would form around these clubs. I lived in a town of 15,000 people, but there were 700 handball players, and the club wasn't professional. It was third division, which is actually like fourth division in Denmark. And like people would go to games, and like it would be like the cash register person at the grocery store who would be the starting left back. Like it was cool. And then you'd go to these Bundesliga games, and they would have like a couple thousand people in a standing section only with the drums, with the capos, with the flags, indoors, unreal. And I'm just like, how does this can't happen in the US? Like this isn't, you go to a Tigers game, you go to a Lions game, you pay $40 to sit quietly and eat your hot dog, like you advertise to. And then I come back and one of my brothers says like, let's go check out Detroit City FC. I was like, all right, like I got nothing better to do on a Friday night. And like the moment I walk in there, like goosebumps, like seeing like
the atmosphere, right?
The environment, being like getting one of those little hymnal things and just like singing.
House hymnals.
Unbelievable. So that's that was a big influence in me saying, you know what, like I got to give this handball thing like a shot in the U.S. Like there are people out there who want this sort of sporting environment and want the community.
Yeah.
Shout out to Detroit City FC.
I was just to say their story really is a good example of that, because they really are just, a couple friends who sat down one day and said, "So we like soccer, huh? Let's do this thing." and just people just showed up, and I mean, it was meteoric. There's no other way to describe it. I mean, when you even see like you're talking about like how they helped build in Michigan. I mean, as much as I'm sure they would hate to admit it, I'm sure it would kill them to do it. There would not be a Grand Rapids FC. There would not be an Ann Arbor, AFC Ann Arbor, whatever they call themselves.
Yeah.
Lansing United. Lansing United at least admits to it. Jerry Sampson cops to that. His team would not exist if it wasn't for Detroit City FC's owners. But none of these teams, Kalamazoo, blah, blah, to all their credit as individual clubs, they all do great work in what they do. Not everybody except the Stars.
Yeah.
And
that stuck.
yeah, but they all take the cue from Detroit City FC, who really did show. I mean, everybody, you can start from the ground. You can get a couple buddies together and who just have the mindset to make this thing work and do it the right way. And you can make not only a good product that people want to support, but a sustainable and marketable product. I mean, I can go into all of it, but if you go through their list of international friendlies and just notable players that have come through, I don't know what other fourth division soccer team, now third division, could make these kind of claims.
Yeah.
Except for the Bucks. Credit where it's due. When you're the best amateur team in the country for, going on 20 years, 30 years. I mean,
a bunch of tryhards.
Hey,
slinging shade. That's what we're doing here.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know anything about the Bucks, so I only know the Buckeyes. But yeah, no, that's crazy. I mean, to your point, like I think that's something that we can definitely capitalize on with handball, especially is that community base, and that's what Shane you were talking about, just getting Flint behind putting together a team, and like you'll have plenty of support. And I'll tell you this much, like having only played in a couple games where we actually had fans that knew what handball was, it's an incredible experience. Like it completely changes the game to play in front of like I wouldn't say hostile, but just an exciting crowd. Like it's just such a cool experience. So I think that's something that you have that group with the Northern Guard, and I know like for me, like Nordec for the crew, a similar kind of group, same kind of stuff, but they're very like soccer focused only kind of thing. Some of them have started to get into the futsal community, so like when I go to the futsal games, like I'd say probably there's like 5 or 6 of the guys that are like kind of the passionate Nordec guys that come to the futsal games, and they have their own little futsal corner where they got the drums, and it's cool, it's nice, and that's something that Joey and I have been trying to figure out how to create. And I know when we played our game a couple weeks ago, I brought up some bongos, but we were out in the park, and I didn't have any people on a bench because we didn't bring enough for subs for anybody to play the bongos, so it didn't get used too much, but yeah, it's something for the future that we're definitely trying to strive for, is to create an experience that the fans want to be a part of, and that really fuels the players. So,
that's one thing I look forward to with our city here is I know that we have really, really passionate sports fans. And we have, traditionally we have a long, long hockey history. We had the Flint Generals here for forever and a day, and they started back in the 60s and had only missed like 1 year until the team folded in the late 2000s. And immediately after that, it's like, the Firebirds come in and people are already showing up immediately, and you have, little supporter sections there. So I know we have, and the soccer team just came here last year and, immediately picked up a bunch of people going to the games from the college areas and stuff like that. So I definitely think that kind of desire for more sports, especially more unusual sports, is there. I mean, we've had a rugby team here, I think, since the 70s as well.
Oh, snap.
Right, yeah, the Flint Rogues. They've been here for a long, long, long time. And my understanding is before I was here, but my understanding is that they used to be a real hot ticket in this town. Like they could be like the team to go see that was not the Generals.
Wow.
So, I mean, even for a game like rugby, which is, again, pretty niche, just like team handball, it's got its time, its place, and its draw.
Right.
So pretty comfortable with the folks here.
Do you think that, a place like Flint might get more handball traction than another town that might have some other pro sports, just because there is that thirst, like people want to get to sporting events and things like that? So you could get the whole community behind several different Flint, kind of call them semi-professional teams, I feel like.
Hmm.
Because my struggle in Columbus is that sure, we only have the Blue Jackets and the Crew from a professional standpoint, but Ohio State's its own, that's
Right.
bigger than both those. So if we can get some people to draw away from OSU football, then we'd be in business. But that's it's pretty tough. It's pretty tough.
You know, that's actually a pretty excellent point. I've thought about that too. We are in a pretty grand spot for that because even though we are, like I said, kind of reinventing as a college town here, we have an MSU campus and a U of M Flint campus, and you know, Mott Community College and Kettering and a few other ones. It's nothing like being in Ann Arbor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not like being in Columbus.
Yeah.
It's not like I have this giant Division I or even Lansing where I have a
Right.
Division I college to compete with that also fields 1,000 sports teams a year that people can, and plus intramural teams that people can pick and choose from.
Yep.
So I think that definitely helps.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's definitely an advantage not starting in a place like Ann Arbor. But I think that the people here, because of just kind of the way Flint is and kind of the city's history, I think that people are more hungry to support a Flint team, something that we can really look to and say, this is ours.
This is us. Shane, I'm gonna have to pause you because we're gonna the Zoom's gonna cut out here, so I'm gonna probably end us now.
Right.
Keep that thought, and we're gonna pick right back up. All right. Okay. I'm gonna end our Zoom meeting, and okay, goodbye. Oh boy. So, folks, I hope you're having a great time listening. We got one viewer so far. I know that it's been quite an interesting story hearing from Shane from Flint. His rise to handball stardom is going to be quite the story, I think, here in a couple of years when they get off the ground. I think he's got the groundwork for an excellent situation. I'm pretty pumped to hear how things develop, and having Joey close by will definitely be a nice added feature to help them grow and flourish as a club. So we're looking forward to following their story as things move on. So we're going to wait here just another couple seconds while I get Joey and company on and get all my cameras readjusted. So stand by, everybody. I'm just going to keep talking to myself because I'm good at that. I'd like to thank our sponsors for today's show, as always, unofficially KT Tape. For all your kinesio activities and so on and so forth. Get yourself a nice roll of KT tape. Helps me stay active, mobile. I know I don't do a great enough job as John Ryan with the commercials, but we'll work on that. So, in time. As always, folks, thanks for tuning in. Give Shane about another 5 seconds here for me to get his camera fixed. And do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Oh, son of a gun. I'd also like to give a shout out to OBS. For anybody looking to get into the podcast game, OBS, excellent option. It's fairly easy to use, but it can also get annoying sometimes when I don't have a nice mouse. Oh, son of a biscuit. Okay. Oh, you gotta be joking here. All right, we only have two. We gained viewers, so that's nice. All right, I think Shane's back, Joey's back. We're gonna kick this show back into gear. Okay, boom. Welcome back, shooters. Thank you for sticking through the break with us. Shane was just talking about how Flint is the city that's ripe for taking over handball as from an interest standpoint, and that they're gonna have a fantastic following. So I'll let you pick up where you left off there.
Thanks. Yes, like I was saying, I think the people in our community are very eager to support a Flint team and a Flint product. I look at the success of the hockey team, the soccer team, and not only them, but the fact that we have had that rugby team that has, existed just for so incredibly long, which is a real testament to the staying power of even a niche sport like that in the city. I mean, heck, we have a roller derby team that's really popular around here, the Flint City Roller Girls.
Oh
People love
boy, yeah.
it. Yeah. I'm trying to think. We got the Flint Monarchs, women's basketball team. Very, very successful, very dominating team. They've moved up to play in the city's big arena this past year. So I think that as long as you can show the people that you are a genuine product, your heart is in the right place, and that you are for the city, and not trying to just make a quick buck,
Right.
real fast off some people. I think that the people are more than willing to embrace any Flint team, especially something new. Like I said, something that can be exciting to them. And I think that when you look at, especially the basketball players that come out of here, the roller derby, the rugby, we're a hard nosed city. We just are. So I think, again, like a hard nosed, rough playing sport like handball can be, I think that will really attract folks.
Excellent.
Hell
Excellent.
yeah.
Excellent. That's what I like to hear. And especially those roller derby girls, man, you could get girls team probably pretty quick. Just throw them a ball while they're skating around. They know how
That is the plan.
to throw some bows, lay down the lumber. So
Roller
that's
derby
good.
handball combination.
Oh
That's
man, what a crossover.
That'd be a good halftime show.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, seriously, put that down and we can make that happen. I mean, we played at halftime for futsal. That's an easy,
Mhm.
one for us. The court's already there. We just jumped on and started playing and, roller derby.
How long did
Man,
it take them to figure out you guys were playing, JD?
I don't know that anybody knew we were playing. I think they made an announcement for us saying like, hey, the Columbus Armada, Ohio State are gonna be playing handball here at halftime, and there's still a lot of people in the stands. When I look up, they weren't really paying too much attention, but there's still a lot of fans, more than most handball games in America. So I'll take it. I ain't gonna not gonna complain about free advertisement. So one day maybe it'll be the other way around. That futsal will be playing at halftime of our handball game. Who knows? We'll see.
Dream.
There
That's the
you go.
dream.
So cool, cool, cool,
Hell yeah.
cool. Joey, what other questions you got for Shane?
Well, Shane, what do you think it will take? I'll back up here actually. So the distinction between the MLS and the MPSL, like, there's obviously a lot of differences, and to the uninitiated, may seem like a difference in quality. But it doesn't seem like, obviously the Northern. All right, so the Northern Guard does not like the MLS. Why?
Right.
Why don't they like the MLS? That's what I meant to ask.
I I think because if you look at the structure of MLS, it's basically the polar opposite of what Detroit City FC and the Northern Guard supporters really are. Whereas, again, like how our team started, five friends getting together and saying, let's do this thing. It's a real grassroots movement. Even the supporter group, I mean, there's no fees to be a Northern Guard supporter. You just say you are and you are. It's as simple as that. So I mean, it's about as grassroots and just do it as you can. Whereas you look at MLS and it's like, well, you need, what is it now? 250 million dollars for franchise fee alone.
My word.
Right. And and it's while they're doing that, nobody's sitting there going, yep, $250 million out my pocket. Pop, pop, pop. No problem. Oh, hey, by the way, I need to build a soccer specific stadium because that's a requirement for their league. Well, these billionaires ain't paying for the stadiums. They're going to the city and saying, hey guys, give me tax money. And we've never been about that. Even when we renovated our new stadium in Hamtramck at Keyworth, that was crowdfunded. We paid the $750,000 to renovate that stadium and make it playable for us. We didn't look to taxpayers to front the bill so that we would have a place to play our games. And I think that when you see, especially the steamroller effect, I mean, it doesn't even have to go to MLS. You go to, what was it, USL, and you see a team like the Chattanooga Red Wolves. Owners, some rich guy from Utah, sees, hey, there's a team from NPSL doing a good job in Chattanooga. Chattanooga FC is pulling in 4,000 or 5,000 people a game. I'm going to put a product there and make some money.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, we don't live that carpetbagger life. And MLS is 100% that. When we saw MLS get talked about in Detroit, it was a couple billionaires getting together and saying, how can we get this land real cheap How can we get this tax money to make this happen? And then the last second, they get to land. It's like, oops, wait a minute, we're going to play at the football field. And then when the league says Soccer Pacific Stadium, they say, well, whoopsie do, we don't have a choice now. It's football field or nothing. Guess we don't get a team.
Dang.
Wow. I didn't realize what happened.
Yeah, it's wild. The whole
Holy
MLS
cow.
thing here with Tom Goris and Gilbert and Martha Ford and everybody is pretty wild. But
I knew
that's the thing.
prison, but I didn't know that they just like bait and switch.
Yeah, that's kind of how it feels. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say bait and switch because legal purposes, but opinion, it looks like a bait and switch.
Uh-huh.
Hey, we got our land for pennies on the dollar, and it's like to cover the tracks. Now it's like, oh, we're going to build a U of M thing here, and it's like, okay, whatever, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think that everything about that is just so opposite of what we want to do. We just want to build and here's the thing: if City builds and builds and builds and became an MLS team, through whatever mechanisms, I think that most Northern Guard supporters would still, maybe even reluctantly, would still support the team. Firefly. Would still support the team because at the end of the day, our love is for our club. And as long as our club can be true, that's where we are. I think that's a lot of it. It's just, I hate to use the term plastic, but it's just MLS just is so flat. It feels like, as opposed to NPS, we're like NPSL and even NISA, it allows us to be a vibrant club that has an identity that is rough, cussy, smoky, loud. But I don't think you could do what we do in a lot of other leagues. I think we'd get sanctioned or censored or some other ridiculous nonsense pretty quick. Yeah.
Are you going to bring a little bit of that to Flint City HC?
Yes,
I
please.
hope so.
Yes, sir.
I hope so. I don't know. It's kind of hard to be a punk rock team handball, and so like everybody's doing it DIY style.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to stand out with a punk rock team when everybody is.
Yep.
Very true. It's the essence of the sport at this point, because as you've probably realized by this point, there really is no league. There's no structure.
Yeah, I'm learning that.
Wild West, baby.
The Wild West. In fact, we have a story for you that you might, I don't know, actually it's a little bit depressing, but the guy you sent the equipment to at U of M, I'm not sure if I ever told you this, but I got in touch with that guy when I was first starting to play because I saw that U of M had a team.
Yeah.
He never got back to me. I was like, oh, that's really strange. Years go by and I just forget about it.
Wrote him
mentioned
off.
this guy had these nets and balls and all this equipment.
Right.
I talked to JD, who started the Ohio State team. And JD, what do you have to say about this?
So, I'm not sure there's a bigger rivalry in sports other than Michigan, Ohio State. And so when we started our team, we started looking for what other colleges had handball teams, and lo and behold, one of the closest ones to us was Michigan. I was like, oh, here we go. This is cash money right here. So I emailed the guy, Alex Bennett, I'm not sure how he pronounces it, and I was like, hey man, like let's get a game together. Like let's play some handball. You come down here, we come up there, whatever. So I probably invited him, I don't know, once a month for our entire first season to come down. I even offered us to go up there. Every time it was a different excuse, this, that, oh, the guys don't want to come together. We can't. University says we can't leave, blah, blah, blah. It says you guys can't come here. All this stuff. And it gets to the point where, like, I just stopped including him on emails, and he just kind of disappeared. And now if I tried to email, I came back like 3 or 4 years later and was like, let me just, shoot him a message, and then it bounced back, and his email was gone. So, so just completely
you got all my stuff.
I wonder though if the school has it, because that's what University of Miami University of Ohio. Their team is dying. It's I shouldn't say it's dying. It is dead. And I basically asked them that if it's in fact dead, that I want their stuff, because I'm going to give it to some other team. and they said, well, we're gonna make sure that it's dead, because they're one of the few facilities in all of the United States that have handball lines. It's them, North Carolina, San Francisco, some other places have to tape just like everybody else, but they have permanent lines and goals. So they have a nice setup. But so it's kind of sad that they died. But yeah, so we're trying to like capitalize on that. But I'd be wondering if you guys go over to Ann Arbor and be like, hey, I was told there's handball stuff here. Like, we want it back.
Give me my stuff back.
Exactly. If you want me to play bad guy from USA Team Handball, I'll come in and be like, hey, we want our stuff back. Like,
Repo man.
Exactly.
That's the thing too.
Dog the bounty hunter.
Right, because that's the thing. When USA gave me the short leash, they're like, hey, there's this guy in Ann Arbor and he's got it going. So, if you're not using it, we got to give it up to him. So I did. And there you go. That really sucked.
Handball, that sums up handball in the U.S. Like, what was the rush? What was the rush when you, like, first off, they send you stuff. At that point, they should just say, all right, like, we're putting our faith in this person. Like, let's let him run with it. Why give him a time frame? All right, that just, I'm sorry.
Well, I mean,
it gets me going.
I'll tell you what, after purchasing, that's what's nice right now is I've just purchased all my own equipment. So now I've got my own nets. I've got a couple bags of, like, adult ladies and
you don't need no man. You're a strong, independent woman.
Exactly. So, so I mean, that's kind of the nice thing is, like, while I understand the idea, because I mean, granted, the nets they gave me were like these nice, metal frames and stuff. That's really cool. And now I know how expensive those balls can be to buy in bulk, or even in bulk. They're pretty pricey. I kind of understand why they were like, especially knowing how like not structured everything is. I kind of get the whole idea of like, listen, we need that stuff that costs us a lot of money back. I kind of get it. I do wish I had more time, but now that I own everything, especially with pandemic and everything, if things were slow to start, I own all the equipment. So if 2020 can't kick off, I got 2021. If I can't find players, I got 2022. The idea now is we can always keep pushing in. Right now, we're looking at going like all out. So like I said, we got equipment for a men's club. We have equipment for a women's club if we can put it together. And we've got enough balls to hopefully get, not looking for a youth club necessarily, but enough balls where we could get kids in.
Nice.
Just to get some interest going. And that's credit to my little son Atticus. He when he started seeing me get the equipment and started watching videos, he's like, oh, can kids play this? And I'm like, yeah,
of course.
Kids can.
Oh yes, good boy.
Yep, I reached out to Joey for some advice on what kind of equipment to get. And
did you capitalize on the big select sale from a couple weeks ago?
Oh yeah, of course.
Nice. Father's Day. We both went hog wild with that. I think that probably the three of us sold them out under the table there.
Probably. You know what? I'll tell you what. I was happy as a clam though, man. I got so much stuff for a real good price. I went to them and I got nets from NetWorld for a real good price and shipped really fast. I was really happy with those.
Solid.
Can't complain, but they're going to work hopefully better than PVC, so I'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah, I got every set of nets I think available. I got the really light flexible nets. I got the heavy duty flexible net. I have the PVC nets, and then I have the aluminum nets. So I have got the whole gamut. Too many nets for one guy, but I also have a plethora of clubs to fund. So cool. I actually have a question in the chat here for you, Shane. This comes from Josh Forstoffel. He wants to know, does Shane have interest in crossing the border for broader exposure as Canada has a more solid foundation? This question could be for Joey as well. So it sounds like Josh wants to know if you guys are going to poach any Canadians, maybe get some Windsor boys.
What's that tell you? What's that flag of Quebec tell you?
Hey.
There we go.
Yeah, absolutely. I love Canada. Canada is my second home. As much as I can get, once we get rolling, I would love to play as many games as we could with Canadian clubs.
Toronto's pretty solid, and Ontario, both those teams are pretty cool.
Alberta.
And you know what? Not a far drive. It's 5 hours from Flint to Niagara. I can make a trip to there or Toronto, no problem.
Yeah.
That's one of the shortest trips. I mean,
Yeah.
in the U.S. Like that's a
It's
reasonable
a
handball
normal handball trip, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey, it's nice for us because there's only one road. Just 407 all the way across, no problem.
Yep. Nice.
Straight shot.
Cool. Josh has some other questions which lead us to our last topic, but I want to make sure we get enough questions in for Shane before we. Oh, geez, we lost Shane.
Oh, sorry, battery.
Oh boy. Well, Shane's back. Let me do some rearranging here. All right, we'll be quick. I'll be quick. I promise.
No, you're good.
Joey, do you have any other questions for Shane before we continue on to our final topic? Shane can be a part of that, obviously, but it's new and that's the wrong rotation.
Well, Shane, it's just exciting to hear you talk because you're in this for the long haul. That is one trait that is few and far between among many handball people. That's why like JD's one of my good friends because he's in this not for the next Olympics, not for 2 Olympics from now. He loves it and he's just gonna make it happen. And that's the sense I'm getting from you. And it's really, I'm smiling from ear to ear right now. I'm really pumped.
Yeah. The hope is just to build. As I was saying, I'm at the age now where, you say, you mentioned the Olympics. I'm not going to the Olympics. I'm old and broken, and no, that's not going to happen. But the idea of being able to, like I said, just build something, especially in our community, that just, that puts a fire in me, and I know that not only I but my wife are really looking forward to that. I don't know what to say about it. It's an amazing opportunity, and we just can't wait.
Well, we're excited to watch it grow and prosper because it will prosper. Joey and I will not let you die or let the club die. I mean, you will die eventually, and sorry to be morbid, but we will keep the club alive. I don't know. I know CPR, so I can try to, if you're in trouble, I can drive, 4 hours to come try to save you or something like
We're
that.
Not going to kill you. We're not going to kill you, I promise.
I am not a serial killer.
But what's it going to take? We might have touched on this already, but I just want to bring this one home. What's it going to take for handball to be like Detroit City FC, to create a sporting experience for people that is akin to the experience you get when you go to Keyworth?
I think right now is a great time for something like this to happen because, like you guys kind of put it, it's kind of Wild West right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's kind of Wild Westy and it's really independent, everybody can kind of forge their own identity. A Columbus team can say, we're Columbus. This is who we are. This is our identity. Detroit can do that. DC can do that. And I mean, New York's kind of set themselves we're the old school team. They've kind of set themselves up with that, legacy identity. And I just think there's a real opportunity for everybody to kind of do that. And once you establish who you are, that will attract people to you. And, if you put on a good product and if you create an atmosphere that is conducive to fun, God forbid fun at sporting events, if you can do that, the people will come. And of course you have to be aware of where you are. I've seen soccer teams come through different cities that just immediately try to be like, no, we are a team in your town, $15-$20 tickets, Chamber of Commerce, give us whatever we want or we're leaving. And those teams don't last. The teams that come in and say, we see where we are, we know who our people are, we are going to be a team for you, not a team for you to pay. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think when you can do that, the people will be there, and that is how you grow.
Hell yes.
Amen.
I'm sorry for being too long-winded.
No, it's beautiful. It's nice so we're not crazy. There's other people like Joey and I out there, so it's good.
We're really happy to have you.
Yeah.
For this community, seriously.
So the last question, or not question, but point of discussion that we wanted to touch upon as far as the big news in the USA handball world is saying farewell to our very own Barry Siff. For those of you who don't know, yeah, Barry's got some ties with the state up north there. So Barry resigned. It'll be effective this Saturday, but he made it a strong, I believe, 15 months of work as the CEO of USC Team Handball. But Barry's stepping away with handball staged for absolute takeover. So, Shane, if you know anybody looking to take over CEO position, it's got a lot of stresses. Definitely has a lot of work to be done with it. It's not easy. A lot of angry people involved. So yeah, if you're willing to take that on,
I think I'll focus on my little project here.
Good.
I'll keep an eye out.
Yeah. Well,
I wouldn't wish that job on my worst enemy. And I love Barry, and the fact that like we're losing him is like heartbreaking because like he was another influence on me wanting to like actually start a club, because a year and a half ago, if you would ask me if I wanted to start a club, I would be like, why the hell would I ever want to do that? That's just like, yeah, why? And then he was a energetic guy, optimistic to no end, and I really still believe in what he was trying to do. And it's a shame that he's gone, but it kind of frees us even more so. We're allowed to be a little bit more free now that
Carpe diem, baby.
There's a little bit less strong leadership in USA Team Handball. I'm not saying like completely disregard USA Team Handball, but depends on who they will bring in now. Yeah, I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. I hope I didn't get myself in trouble with USA Team Handball.
I don't
Basically,
think so.
I'm bummed to see Barry go. He's a great guy. Melissa and Emily, who are now, I guess, running USA Team Handball, great people. Love them. We'll see where this thing goes. But yeah, hate to see Barry go.
So Josh has a couple questions. He asks, what is the new direction of USA Team Handball? Who are legitimate candidates for this position, and what is your ideal candidate? Josh, in summary from what Joey said, this direction is still the strategic plan. So for those of you who aren't aware, go check out the 10-year strategic plan published by USA Team Handball in 2018. Also revised in fall of 2019. It's, I believe, 13 pages. But there's not a lot of details as far as how things are going to get done, but there are a lot of goals. So if you want to check out the goals, and maybe if you have an idea on how to get there, chime in, because there's a lot of lofty ambitions out there.
Written by people who couldn't name the best handball player in the U.S. or in the world, mind you. So who have no idea what the sport is like in Europe. All right, gonna get off my soapbox.
Joey's gonna get shot here. He's shooting too straight.
On my bluff.
But Josh, I'm trying to answer. Josh is just firing away in the chat right now. It's great to see. Legitimate candidates, though, are, if you look at the previous CEOs, what they've brought to the table, they've all been leaders, high up execs at other companies. For instance, Barry was pretty high up at ConAgra. You had Harvey Schiller, who was involved with Turner Broadcasting Services. You have, I think it was Jeff Utz. He is high up with Utz Pretzels. The list goes on. So having somebody with that executive level background is kind of what we're ideally looking for. I know the path forward right now is that several members of the board are conducting a search. So if you or anyone you know is looking to take over the CEO position, please reach out to the board of directors from USA Team Handball.
JD will answer you.
Yeah, I'll answer you. I try not to ignore people unless I really don't like you. But yeah, let's see what else. What else is Josh? All right, I'm reading it, Josh. God bless. Other question regarding CEO and direction of Team Handball: does it have the proper support system to succeed, or is it doomed regardless?
No, it doesn't.
What
Next
do you?
question.
I'm
I'm
gonna stop you here, Joey, real quick. I think what people don't realize is that the IHF is very invested in trying to make handball work in America. Now we got to tell them how to make that work. Is the problem. So they're asking for our help. So if you believe you have a beautiful plan on what is wrong with handball in America, please reach out to your local IHF representative and let them know.
They'd be happy
Oh,
to
can
hear.
we go to the old standby of how the best players don't play it, and we need LeBron James to play team handball?
yeah, give me that LeBron James fella.
That would change it all. Where's Allen Iverson with the handball?
Yeah, jeez.
We got to get them playing the handball.
Josh says hashtag JD for Team Handball CEO. Josh, I cannot run for that position, but thank you for the recommendation. So cool. Okay, I think that sums up all our points there. Shane, thank you very much. I see you're out of daylight as all of us are here, but you had a nice little patio light. So I'm really it's you haven't been attacked by too many bugs, which is good to see.
Yeah, they're starting though.
Yeah,
they like the bald head of mine.
The struggle. Well, thank you again for joining us. It's great to hear from you. We're really excited about Flint, and I think Joey and I are just ready to make the haul up there to get some games going. Because the best thing, and just keep this in mind, people love competition. So as soon as you're ready to have a game, Joey and I will figure out how to make it happen. We'll be there. So
even before, let's schedule something, and we'll say late September we got a game with Detroit. So it'll really light a fire in people.
There you go. No, that sounds great. I mean, honestly, we're hoping to get through as soon as possible. Right now, we're talking to a few places for a steady place to play and hopefully practice at as well. I'm really looking forward to getting out there with you guys and making this happen.
Excellent, cool. Joey, any final words?
Thank you so much, Shane. I'm like thrilled when I first saw that the Northern Guard Flint followed me on Twitter. I was like pumped, and since then I've just been getting ever more excited, and I can't wait to have our first game, and we can talk about when we want to schedule that. But thank you for everything you're doing, and we are both here for you.
Oh, we lost him again. Oh, he's back. Whew.
I hit the 10.
Dang.
All right. Thank you so much for everything, man.
Cool.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Of course. As always, everybody, keep shooting, shooters.
Man, I wish my Twitter wasn't closed. I've been on Twitter jail for saying that COVID is bad.
Yeah, wait, what happened?
I said COVID is bad. That's it. I said COVID bad. Remember, Northern Guard put out a post that said mask good, like caveman speak?
Yeah.
So I quote tweeted it, said COVID bad. And for some reason, that must have gotten Dorsey's knickers in a fucking twist. And I'm fucking suspended forever, and I can't get the account back. They will not reinstate it. So it's fucking done.